My husband and I have 5 kids and our 2 youngest are autistic. So here are 5 movies or TV shows that get autism wrong. And at the end of this video, I'm going to share one character that has been around since 1983. And you may not know that the writers planned on having them be autistic. It's probably a cartoon that you grew up watching. My son Ezra, who's 8 years old, has nonverbal autism. He's able to communicate through an iPad, and we are teaching him how to spell, which he is catching on to, so we're really excited about that. He's growing, and everything he learns is just a miracle. My husband and I are his primary caregivers, and so when I first heard that there was this Australian movie about this older sister having to be the sole caregiver for a nonverbal autistic little sister, I wanted to find out more about that movie. I pictured this movie to have a lot of potential, to be able to really bring a lot of awareness and help people understand like just how normal it is to have a child or someone you love in your family that is nonverbal. And so I was really interested in seeing this portrayed on screen. This could be a really amazing movie. But it was the worst. It is because the character, who is neurotypical, not autistic at all. So there's your first problem, right? This actress based her character off of characteristics of autistic people, which is extremely dangerous to do. And so what you get is a really poorly done portrayal of a caricature or a stereotype of an autistic person. And put on top of that, the screenwrite should have been rewritten in the beginning stages of the write. This movie is called Music. It was more than just disappointing. There are scenes in this video that they not only got autism completely wrong, but they also teach how to handle like a meltdown of an autistic person completely wrong. Imagine this. The autistic, nonverbal 14-year-old. She's walking through a park. She starts getting overstimulated. And the neurotypical person forces the autistic person down on the ground and then lays on her and tells her how to feel. And then it magically works and everyone's happy again. And I'm like, what just happened?
What just happened?
Like, that is not realistic in any way. That's dangerous. With my son, Ezra, who is autistic and nonverbal, when he starts to feel uncomfortable, and we know this is the beginning stages of a possible autistic meltdown, we try and get him to a safe place where he can stim and regulate himself again. We try to get him away from the environment that is causing the overstimulation and help support him in his needs. Now, if that doesn't work, which sometimes it doesn't, then it can escalate to a meltdown. But even then, we would never restrain him unless he was actually really hurting himself or hurting someone else. And even then, we wouldn't do it that way. That was like one of the worst ways you can restrain a person, even if they needed to be restrained, which would be the last resort anyway, and really wouldn't happen that fast. I know neurotypical people will think that, oh, there's no reason behind a meltdown, but there always is. And so you have to give them that. You have to help them feel seen, help them feel heard, and support them as that individual. And it's going to look different for every individual. And that's why it's dangerous to even put this on screen to teach people, because the way I help my autistic 8-year-old is going to be different than the way I help my autistic 3-year-old. Ezra and Simon are so different on the spectrum that if they are both in a meltdown, I'm going to do different things for each one of them. But believe me when I say you know one person who's autistic, then you know one person who's autistic. Our family travels a lot, and we actually sold our home after Ezra had a near-death experience. You can see that video here. And we moved into an RV and traveled to all the national parks. We share about this adventure and our unique normal, having 5 kids and 2 on the spectrum. Simon, our 3-year-old, has been diagnosed with level 1 autism, and he's no intellectual delay. And Ezra has level 3 autism, and he's nonverbal. And so, of course, they're going to be super different. We post regularly of our family's unique normal, so please consider subscribing. All right, enough of that. Moving on to number 2. The character Sheldon Cooper in The Big Bang Theory. Now, why would I include this character when I know the writers have never said that he's autistic? They've actually said that he's not autistic. Why would I put this in here?
Why did you do it?
Because people think he is. Now, he's a very funny and likable character and has some autistic traits. If we have an autistic character, we need to make them a realistic autistic character and do a good job and not create a stereotype that everyone thinks is autistic and then we go, oh wait, never mind. We know we're not doing a good job, so he's not autistic. And I bring this character up because the doctor that actually diagnosed Simon, Dr. Spenlove, who helped standardize the ADOS-2 test, says that he gets so many parents coming into his office saying, oh, I know my child is autistic because he's just like Sheldon Cooper. And the doctor has to say, Sheldon Cooper is not autistic. So again, that kind of character is incredibly misleading and has led so many people to think that autism has to do with special abilities and being a savant, which we'll talk about later. Put in the comments what you think about Sheldon Cooper. Why is it that so many people think he's autistic when the writers say that he's not? The third, the TV show Girl Meets World had some episodes about autism. One of their characters, Farkle, yes, his name is Farkle, it's like sparkle but with an F, is getting assessed for a possible diagnosis of Asperger's. He goes, well, I might have Asperger's. And they go, no, you don't. No, you don't. And they treat his possible diagnosis of Asperger's, which is now Autism 1, as like a disease that's gonna kill him or something. Like their reaction's like, no, you don't. You don't have cancer. And then you get all hyped up about it and they're all emotional about it. And then he actually doesn't have Asperger's or Autism level 1. But this other girl does.
Oh, I am so confused.
So what message are we sending to the kids that are watching this family show? Picture your 9 to 12-year-old watching this show going, oh, I hope he doesn't have it. These peers had this behavior that is dictated by a very negative stigma of the word Asperger's, which is now Autism 1. And you're just like, what are we trying to tell our kids? To be afraid of a diagnosis. Oh, and that their friends might actually like change because they're diagnosed. If he does have autism, it means he's had it this whole time. You just didn't know. So in Girl Meets World, they didn't necessarily portray an autistic person in the wrong light. They portrayed autism itself in the wrong light. This is a big deal. That's why I included it in this video. We talk a lot about this in our ASD club where we do video chats every week. Click the link below in the description and I'll see you on the next call. And if you're looking for more one-on-one coaching, we have a link for that as well down below in the description. Tell us in the comments what other autistic characters are portrayed in media. So these next two videos, number 4 and 5, are actually rated R. So I did not watch the whole entire video because I don't watch rated R videos, but I did watch quite a bit of the scenes that aren't the rated R part, if you know what I mean. Video number 4 is so popular that I have heard it so many times. People come to me and say, oh, you don't have to explain autism to me. I know what autism is. I've seen Rain Man. And even though Dustin Hoffman did a really good job of copying an actual person named Kim Peek, who has amazing savant abilities that, sure, totally deserve a movie. It'd be better if it was his actual biography, but whatever. Kim Peek, the real Rain Man, actually wasn't autistic.
That's surprising.
There were some good things that happened from this video. For example, it was practically the only one that even portrayed someone who was autistic and brought this idea to cinema that autistic people can live worthwhile lives.
What an idea!
So we've come a long way. The thing that was hard about this video is because it was practically the only one out there other than this other one called A Boy Who Could Fly. I remember watching this one actually when I was a kid. It really limited and narrowed people's view on what an autistic person was like. Obviously with my 2 boys, I don't have a Rain Man. I don't have a savant in my family. Usually what autism is portrayed as this robotic character who is a savant. And while that's a very interesting character, it's only a really small percentage of autistic people that fall under that category. And our 5th and last movie is an autistic murderer stalker. You heard me right. The Fanatic. Again, it's rated R. I haven't seen the whole thing, but even the parts that I have seen make me cringe. The acting is actually really well done. But while there's such a limited amount of good quality entertainment out there of autistic people, why would you put this character in there? To teach that autistic people should be feared? And the one 80s cartoon character that no one was told was autistic, but actually was written in by the writers as an autistic character.
Who is it?
Donatello. Put it in the comments if you knew that. In August 2022, Ron Conceal, the creator of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, actually said officially that Donatello is on the spectrum. Here's 100 autistic famous people and a playlist you just might like.